Nicola Sturgeon, what's your main message to this policy briefing here today?
Well, my main message here in Brussels is that Scotland is a member of the European Union. We want to continue to be a member of the European Union. We contribute a huge amount to Europe and we benefit a great deal principally through jobs from being a member of the European Union. So we're a constructive European partner. But if we were an independent member state, then we could contribute more and protect our national interests more. And that's the key message I'll be setting out today.
What is your understanding of the process that would follow a yes vote for independence in Scotland in terms of Scotland's EU membership?
Well, we're very clear that we want Scotland to be a continuing member of the European Union. Now, if Scotland votes yes at the end of 2014, as I hope it does, there will be a period between then and March 2016 when we will negotiate with the UK government the terms of the independence settlement. In parallel, that will be an opportunity to negotiate with the European Union the terms of our continuing membership. But our basic argument is that Europe is a pragmatic organisation, and secondly, Scotland wants to continue to be a member, and it would be not just in Scotland's interest for that to be the case, it would also overwhelmingly be in the interests of the rest of the European Union.
Is there not a danger, though, that this is uncharted territory and that time frame that you've set out could actually drag on, potentially for years even?
Well, interestingly, the UK government's legal expert that was commissioned to prepare a legal opinion for the UK government said just a couple of weeks ago that he thought the Scottish government's timetable was realistic, and that is, I believe, the case. Interestingly, not a single person I've spoken to in Brussels in the time I've been here thinks that Scotland will not continue to be a member of the European Union. There's a recognition on the part of the Scottish Government and on the part of others that negotiation on the terms of that continuing membership will be required, but nobody believes it is credible or sensible that Scotland would find itself for any period of time outside of the European Union, because that clearly wouldn't be in Scotland's interest, but nor would it be in the interests of other European countries who fish in Scottish fishing waters or who use the single market or the many European citizens who live in Scotland. So, pragmatism, I believe, is at the centre of this debate, and that's why I think it will lead to the right outcome, not just for Scotland, but for the rest of the European Union.
And during that period, when you're negotiating, what exactly are you going to be negotiating for when it comes to, for example, the euro, Schengen? What actually will be your goals during that negotiation?
Well, I think Scotland will be taking a very reasonable and pragmatic approach. We will be arguing essentially for continuity in terms of our existing relationship with the European Union. So Scotland is not currently in the euro, and we will be arguing, and I believe we will maintain this argument, that Scotland should not go into the euro. Similarly with Schengen, we're part of and would want to continue to be part of the common travel area with the rest of the UK and with Ireland. So on none of these things are we arguing for a change in our relationship with the European Union. We're arguing for continuity. Now, of course, in the fullness of time, an independent Scotland, as an independent member state, would undoubtedly build alliances with other member states to argue for reform of the European Union where we thought that was in our interests and in the interests of the wider European Union. But perhaps unlike the UK government, we see that very much as a constructive process and a process of dialogue within the European Union.
Do you concede at all that there is some division in legal opinion and that some people do argue that you would have to reapply?
Well, I'm a lawyer by background. I know that if you have two lawyers, you'll end up with at least two different legal opinions. But I believe that although the law is important, and I would challenge anybody to find the treaty provision that would provide for Scotland or any part of the European Union territories being put outside of the European Union because they exercise their democratic right to self-determination. That would not only, in my view, be against the spirit of the treaties, it would also be against the founding principles of the European Union. So law is important, but as you see in many other things with the European Union, it's not law or process that settles these matters. It's negotiation based on pragmatism, based on mutual self-interest. And on that basis, I absolutely believe that Scotland will continue to be a member of the European Union because it's right for Scotland, but it's also right for the rest of the European Union.
And what about the rest of the UK? What about the possibility of an in-out referendum in the UK? Could that not completely muddy the waters if your negotiations actually don't keep to the timetable that you set out?
Well, I believe our timetable is realistic, and as I've already said, others have expressed that view as well. I hope and I expect that by the time the UK has a in-out referendum, if that does happen, then Scotland by that time will have become an independent country. But I think the position of the UK government and David Cameron in particular does really underline the fact that the risk, the threat to Scotland's continuing membership of the European Union doesn't come from the prospect of Scottish independence. It comes from a growing Euroscepticism within the UK government and that possibility of an in-out referendum. I believe that would be the wrong road for Scotland to go down, but that would be the risk for Scotland if it opted to stay within the United Kingdom.